I was super bored in corporate. I was really just not being challenged. I was not happy. Running your own business is a very different ball game. You work long hours, but it's different because you're working for yourself. You're building your own empire, so it's very different. It changes all your relationships, and the people that understand that are the people that stick around and see you through it.
Joy is waking up every morning and helping businesses and SMEs. We're not compliance officers and run-of-the-mill accountants.
Yours and I are completely different people, so we balance each other out, and that's why it works so well.
We're at a point now where funds are being allocated every month to kids who are excelling in school but don't have the means to have a good education. So we are able to fund that.
All of a sudden, you're in your office, you're working alone, and the guy next door is your husband. So like if you had a fight last night,
Every week, we're speaking to freelancers, dreamers, founders, talking about how we really thrive and live in the new world. Today, I'm joined by husband and wife, Yelesan and Dareshni, skilled accountants that navigated out of corporate into a world of no 9 to 5, just business. With clients all around the world, let's talk to Yelesan and Dareshni. Desh and Yules, thank you very much for joining Freelancing Connect today. It's really lovely to, of course. I always like to start the episodes around you and your introduction, and the best way to do that is to ask you who is Desh and who is Yules. That sounds like an interview question, I gather, but it's just the best way for our viewers to know who you are and what brings you here with us today.
So I'm Desh. I am first and foremost, I think I'm a woman, and then a mother of a little 2.5-year-old, also in business with Yules at this point. I guess I've gone the chartered accountant route in life. Been quite good with all of that. Really enjoyed accounting. One of my biggest passions is dancing. Part of a dance group as well, so that's something that I'm really passionate about, and I'm glad to say I've passed it on to my daughter because she's also an avid dancer, loves it. And I really just enjoy spending time with my family, really enjoy, I know a lot of people don't really enjoy cooking and baking, but for me that's my way to de-stress. I love it. I love seeing their happy faces when I make stuff for them and just, enjoying all of that. So yeah, that's me. And I have 2 fur babies that I also love to spend time with.
I'm a fur baby person too. Okay, Yules.
I'm a dad to my human baby, the 2 dogs, but I'm a car enthusiast, so I needed something to fund car parts and everything. So I'm not joking, but numbers always ran in my blood per se, with the parents being accountants, and I found it's something I genuinely enjoyed and had a flair for, especially adding value and helping businesses. So that was the catalyst in my journey. And obviously going through the experience of work, I realized, okay, this is my passion where it lies. And then I'm very grateful that doing this has also enabled me to fund my other passion, which is the car side, car side of things.
It's really interesting because I've not too often chatted with couples in business, couples that are in the same career path. So that's very interesting to me. And when you mention funding and the money, I think today's conversation is not just about juggling the numbers. It's about understanding how we're navigating positive relationships, healthy clientele, finding your identity, your purpose. And I think that's something that we want to focus on today, because I think you both have done it beautifully. But I want to take a step back. I want to find out when you were in your 9 to 5s and what triggered that decision to go freelancing, because today you've got clients all around the world. And you are a registered business, you're founders of this business and an extended team, but that's the end result. And I'm sure you've got plans for the future and lots of beautiful things coming. But I want to take it back, because so many people are now in that phase of migrating out of corporate or very agile jobs to freelancing. And I think it would be so positive if we spend a little bit of time on that, because I can imagine there's been a lot of emotions, difficult decisions, difficult experiences, moments where you said, did I actually make the right decision? And I'd like to deep dive on that today, because that's going to be something that's going to shift our mindsets so much. So why this? What brought you here? Did you start off studying accounting, working as an accountant at a company? Take us back.
So, well, for me, yes, I did study accounting, and then you have to do your postgrad in order to do articles and become a CA. And that year that I was doing postgrad was just, there was a lot of, family emotional drama happening and that kind of thing, so I failed, and then moved up to Johannesburg and started working at a small accounting firm, and I said, I'm never doing postgrad again, it's too much for me. And within a year I was bored and proceeded to do postgrad again. And then signed at one of the big four, did my articles there, and met Yules along the way. We met at work, so it's funny because you're working so many hours, you don't really have much room to meet anyone else. And so I stayed at the Big Four for a while, and I'll let him take over because he's actually the one that made the decision to go out of corporate first.
Okay, so similar story where I worked prior to joining EY and doing my articles there. I was fortunate enough to have parents that were already in the entrepreneurship game, running the family business as an accounting firm. So I grew up exposed to that because my dad went out and started the firm when I was 2 years old. So we were very fortunate in the sense that I was able to get some invaluable work experience prior to while I was studying. My dad gave me the option when I finished school. You can go full time. I'll pay for university, but you're on your own for anything extra. You need to fend for yourself, or you can come work in the family business. I'll pay you a salary, and you'll be able to pay off your university and have a little bit of a life. I thought, hey, that was so nice. I got paid, my first salary was 1,500 a month. I had to pay for fuel, university, all that, but I made it work. And had a few side hustles on the side, selling soccer jerseys and all of that. But it's those little experiences that actually, I look back, and if it weren't for that, I won't be where I am today. And my dad trying to teach me the value of it. And so when I left him to go serve my articles at EY, and then I was very fortunate even there, where my circle in EY involved a lot of partners and directors who became very close friends. And they saw something in me that I didn't even see at the time. And they said, this is not your final destination in your career. The one partner told me, selfishly, I'd like you to stay on and become a partner, but this isn't for you. I can see you're destined to run your own thing. And I'm very fortunate in that sense. I was given a lot of opportunities there to run engagements, manage engagement margins and business, and that's what gave me the experience and the confidence to say, hey, I can actually do this on my own. I mean, in my last year, the partner handed off to me to say, you run with this, and I doubled the revenue on one of my engagements, and I was like, okay, I can actually do this. I have the possibility. So I look back, it was never a story of, it was actually one of my most difficult decisions to leave EY, because that was home for me, and I was a family. I mean, the same applies to this. And I look back, it's not one of those stories where I left as a disgruntled employee to go on. It was actually a very difficult decision. Yes, I had my challenges, but it was the best experience for me. I look back, and we often joke and say our blood is still yellow, because we're so fond of where we've come. So when I left there, I was actually confident that to take a calculated gamble. We got married in the same year. I had no job prospects. I left. I joined another big listed property company that didn't pan out as well as I liked. So without any job security, I joined a consulting house to go to the US. That happened to be slap bang 2020 in the middle of COVID, and I managed to get the last flight back into South Africa. Des was also in the US at the time, but she managed to get in a bit earlier. So when I got the last flight back, that contract had terminated via the consultant, but the client was so happy. He said, listen, would you consider consulting directly to me? And that's what sparked it. And because we built that relationship, I haven't looked back since.
Yes.
And then we grew to a point where we served the US, the UK, etc. And then I'm like, asked Des, why don't you consider coming? And it was scary because there was no guarantee of income.
Yeah.
It's just we were floating month to month based on this contract. But
And I think it was very different when we made the decision, because when he first decided to go out on his own, I was still at EY. We were in a little apartment. We didn't have many responsibilities. No kids, no dogs, nothing. Life was very relaxed. So it was great. You can go. You can do your own thing.
Yes.
And then when I was super bored in corporate, I just, I was really just not being challenged. I was not happy. So eventually he said to me, okay, why don't you come and join the business?
Yes.
And that was a much bigger decision to take. And then we found out 2 weeks later that I was pregnant. So that was very interesting.
the stars aligned.
Yes, definitely. And your story is so positively unique, because I feel like entrepreneurship is in your blood. You had parents that supported the
Yes.
entrepreneur in you, but you also had a team at work, a professional team at work,
Yes.
that saw that light for you and said, listen, I think this is your calling. You should give it a shot. So I think you definitely had open doors, even though it was your energy and your decisions, but you had that support around you that almost pacified some of your uncertainties. Whereas Desh, you would have had a little bit of fear.
Yeah.
What did that feel like? Because there's so many people out there that are blocked because of either fear or lack of confidence, right? If it's not fear, it's a lack of confidence. What advice do you have for those people? What did you do in the position where you were scared, you didn't know whether you wanted to leave, but you left? How did you overcome that fear?
I think for me, it was a case of, I always had a backup plan just in case, and I knew what I was worth.
Yeah.
So at the end of the day, I knew if this didn't pan out and, financially it wasn't working fast and I had to go back into corporate, it's okay. Because it was always the case that he would stay in PGCO and I would be the one to go back out to corporate, because he's the one that, had started it all. So we always knew, this was a potential. And I think after I had the baby and, I actually started applying after that. I started applying out to see, because we actually didn't have enough work to actually keep me in the company, justify a salary for me, that kind of thing. And I kept putting it out there that, this is what I want. I want something, especially with the baby. She was 3-4 months old at that point. I wanted something remote. I wanted something flexible where I'd be able to actually still spend time with her. And, I actually wanted to be with her. I didn't want to just leave her in the hands of somebody, all day. And I kept saying, this is what I want. I wrote it down, kept putting it out there. And
that
I
one
think
night we were in bed actually,
Yes.
and the idea sparked, hey, let me contact the US.
Yes.
My
And that's
client
what
in
he
the
did.
US, and I'm like, do you guys need another consultant? Can we bring on somebody else? And they're like, that's a fantastic, because Desh was already helping me with the work that we were doing for the US. So they're like, oh great, we'd love someone else.
Yeah. And that was terrifying, because now you're working with the US, it's a different accounting system, it's really terrifying. But I think for me, I kept coming back to, I know what I'm capable of.
Yes.
So I know what I'm worth. I can learn things. I'm a fast learner. It's just about just really having confidence in yourself.
Yes.
And I think a lot of that dipped, because especially after becoming a mother, you get so just that's all you are. You're just a mother. For those first few months, that's all you are. So it was great to actually come out, and don't get me wrong, I love being a mother, but I need to be more than just that.
Yes.
That's who I am. So coming out of that and actually finding my own and getting this contract with Yules and stuff, and it's really been a journey for me to get to where I am now and say, you know what, this is who I am. I'm a businesswoman and I'm a mother, and I can do both.
That's beautiful
It's great.
confidence. And I actually feel it as you're saying it. But you leaned on partnership. You leaned on your network. Is that authentically what grew you into the business size that you are now?
No, not really, because unfortunately those contacts were, we can't, it's difficult because you're operating within a similar industry, not in the same, because I shied away from the audit side, but unfortunately that was a lot larger scale of business that I could even dream of servicing at that point in time. So this is, I think, a lot of divine intervention had a play there, because
Yes.
things just fell into place. Like I said, the year we got married, I still remember savings only had 70 grand
Yeah.
saved up. I didn't even have enough to pay for the wedding. And I said, you know what, let's just take a gamble and do it. Used everything I had, went to the US, got this working.
COVID helped us because we went into lockdown, so there were only 60 people at our wedding. So that was great.
Yes.
Like I said, the stars just aligned. Everything worked. I mean, it wasn't great that certain people couldn't attend, but I mean, it works such from a financial perspective where I was able to now funnel any extra cash into the business,
Yeah.
and it helped us to grow. And I'm very grateful to the client that first started this all in the US, because we're still with them up to this day, because they've been happy with what we've been able to provide them, and that was the catalyst and the safety net per se,
Yes.
that helped me say, okay, I've got this every month. Let's now start expanding into Joburg, into Cape Town, that sort of thing. So. Look, we're still not anywhere near where we'd like to be, but we have to start somewhere, and it's only in this past year that we actually made the active decision to say, look, let's not only service offshore, let's actually expand locally and build up a nice client base locally. And so far it's been fantastic. We've been pulling clients every month. And what the biggest thing for me was coming out of audit was you're constantly in the past. You're constantly doing a tick box exercise, telling businesses this is what you did wrong there, this is what you need to fix. But whereas my goal is, it's not even about making money at the end of the day, but it's more adding value to SMEs out there, because there's other people like us hustling every day, didn't manage the 9 to 5, or had maybe a bad experience in corporate and were forced to go into 9 to 5. I mean, I have a few clients like that where I'm able to now guide them, hold their hand and say, guys, this isn't such a daunting journey if you have the right partner. So for me, the value add was helping a business now grow into the future, rather than doing a tick box exercise of what they did wrong in the past.
Right.
So I think that joy is waking up every morning and helping businesses and SMEs. We're not compliance officers and run-of-the-mill accountants saying, okay, here's your financials, done, we're good. Whereas, guys, this is what we've done for the month. Look, I think we can improve here. Engage. We attend monthly meetings with clients, saying, as a staff member, as a business partner, right? If this is your goal, I think we can do X, Y, and Z to get there. So it's more strategic advisory more than a run-of-the-mill accounting practice that we've built now at this point. And it's been evolving ever since, because I mean, with the dawn of AI and cloud technology and all that, we've had to adapt. So the beauty of enabling all of that in our firm is that we can spend a lot less time on the tick box exercises and more on the detailed analysis and deep dives into firms. And I mean, that's where Desh and I realized this is our passion. This is where we're thriving, because we're now fractional CFOs to medium to large size entities in Joburg, the UK, Cape Town as well, where guys are constantly calling us, look, I want to make a move, but I want your buy-in first. Now that warms me up, because someone actually looks up to us and looking for our advice on what we have to say. Our opinion now means something. Now, if you spoke to 18-year-old me, when I was working for my dad, I was yes boss, no boss, just doing my job, doing my capturing for the month, and that was it. So I look at how I've evolved, and now I actually enjoy waking up every morning to go out there and help people, like help businesses. And
but that's also what clients want, right? They don't want to hire someone that's just coming in to solve for one item on their books.
100%.
They're looking for a suite of services.
Yes.
And once you build your methodology and you provide them with that suite of services, you become high quality value, and I think that's what people are looking for, and that's what a lot of freelancers need to start doing. They need to start adapting to AI. They need to start building their methodologies, their suite of services, and they almost need to be like bulletproof, high quality clients. When I listen to both of you, I feel the equation that you both do so beautifully is you're fearless and you're ambitious. And I think if you just add that up together, you make the perfect combination. Desh, I think Yules had a lot of support from his family in terms of leaving the yellow DNA in you and building, something of your own. What were some of your experiences when you decided to leave corporate from a family perspective, but also from a friendship perspective?
Yeah, I think it was very different because my parents are teachers, 9 to 5. That's all they've ever known. There was quite a bit of support, but also quite a bit of doubt in terms of, are we going to be able to even just make ends meet? And then when our family found out we were pregnant, that was a whole other ball game. Now, are we going to be able to provide for another person? So I'd say it was very different in my family because no one's ever really done this. But I think now at this point where we are, everybody's really bought into it. They see what we've become, and they understand. I think once you get to know Yules, it's very different because you realize this guy's going to make a success of life no matter what. Like, that's Yules.
Yeah.
And I think what you said is very right, that Yules and I are completely different people, so we balance each other out, and that's why it works so well. So where he's completely fearless, I have to be like, well, can we just think about this a little bit? Like, he wants to do some impulsive, let's buy this car here, let's do that. I'm like, okay, just let's step back.
Yeah.
just 1 second, let's think about it. So I think we balance each other out really well, and I think now we're at this point where friends, family, everybody has just really, supported us through it. And just in terms of friends as well, running your own business is a very different ball game. You work long hours, but it's different because you're working for yourself. You're building your own empire, so it's very different. And you've got to then have friends that understand that allow you you go radio silent for a month, and then you're back and say, oh, sorry, we need to catch up, that kind of thing.
Yes.
So it changes all your relationships, and the people that understand that are the people that stick around and, see you through it.
So we first met when we were walking around WeWork, and I looked at my social media lead, Zoe, and I said to her, do you think they're moving in or moving out? Because you guys had boxes on the table.
Yes.
And I saw a picture frame, actually, and I said, hey, I think they're moving in. Let's go say hi and just kind of figure out who they are. And when we knocked on your door, you now have an office at WeWork. So your business is really scaled. What is it like to work from home and then work in an office? What was your decision to take your business into an office setting?
So I think it was mainly Yules because he can't work from home. He needs the peace, the quiet. He needs the separation between home and work. Yeah. I'm very different. I can literally work with my 2-year-old on my lap. So for me, I'm still very much home-based. I come into the office every now and then. So I prefer actually to have the ability to work from home purely because last week our daughter was sick. So I was able to still be there for her, but also then work when she was napping or whatever. So I'm able to tend to that. So that really works for me. But for him, and I'd let you take over, he needs the structure.
Our house is like a farm, so it's noise. We have staff that live on the property, so they're constantly banging and doing things.
Yes.
And then when we started this Joburg office, it started off as a home office because we were able to work from anywhere. So home made sense, and kept our overheads low as well. So I was operating from home for the longest time, but what I found was my productivity was not as high as I'd like, purely because everyone feels, okay, yours is at home, there's an open door. And staff literally walk in and out, I need this, I need you to go to Builders and buy this, I need this, I need that. And then the desk is, okay, we need this for the house, whatever. And then I'm like, okay. And then I get distracted because I want to help everybody else. And then work used to suffer a bit. And I was like, okay, no, this is not working out. So we signed up with another shared workspace last year, joined. That was a game changer because then I realized, okay, this is actually far better because business coincidentally picked up when we moved out of the home office space, because now we were visible in shared workspaces. People could actually understand who we are, what we did. Some clients came from there. Then funny enough, the CFO at WeWork was my trainee at EY. I was his manager, so he and I kept in touch, and he was like, no, come over, see what we have. And I've never looked back because it's been very recent that we moved in, but I've already seen a change in our business and the way we've grown from the time we've joined. We work, our visibility has increased. I think the address makes a big difference for people.
Yes.
So, and just being central to a lot more businesses, whereas you're a home office in one morning side. I think a lot of clients didn't take us as seriously, whereas now we're able to have meetings here and that sort of thing and bring our staff on.
Right.
And the beauty is of the staff that work for us, again, not everyone is forced to come in as well. I like the space here, but we have a hybrid. Some staff are sitting on the other end of the world.
Yes.
It's just how our business works, and it's been working for us. So that's been great.
I think that sense of being agile is so important.
Yeah.
But we always talk about the pros of being a freelancer, right? And I'm a huge suspect on this because I was talking to my sister recently, and she's a corporate ambassador. And she's my older sister, so sometimes I have to just be quiet and listen, right?
Family get-togethers must be fun.
It's really fun, but also we're very honest to each other, right? She'll have an opinion, I'll have an opinion. And recently she said to me, we were actually talking about the layoffs at Accenture, and I said to her, it is such a great company to be a part of. It still is. Accenture is a great company. But can you imagine those 11,000 plus people that got retrenched? It was their dream to get into a company like Accenture.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
The interview process is really, really thorough. They got in, they were excited, they're part of Accenture, they settled, they're stable, they're in a very, very stable environment, they're safe, and one day, boom, your entire world just shifts. And I said to her, with freelancing, you don't get to be that dependent on one company, right? You have 5-6 different bosses, you have 5-6 different incomes, you lose a client, you're still okay, you got 5 more to roll with, you don't have to move house or downgrade your kid's school because you got retrenched. And she was, yes, but corporate's very, very stable. I said, okay, but it's stable until it's not.
Yeah.
And when it doesn't become stable and when you get retrenched, very seldom will people in management remember, oh, we've got a role, let's call this person back. They actually advertise the role. And, so there's almost a lack of loyalty, and you have to understand that because it's a business. But what I respect about this situation is that you don't have one client, so you don't have to downgrade creche or the toy kitchen that you're building in the backyard for baby because you lose a client and you're dependent. You have a lot more freedom. But I accept what you said about the professionalism of having an office out of home, because one of the things I really miss after corporate is having that coffee catch up with my colleagues, walking to a kitchen and making an average cup of coffee and talking about our boss or talking about someone else or talking about incentives. You don't get that when you're a freelancer, and then it becomes really, really isolating. So how do you manage that part? You've got an office that you come to, which I assume is a nice outlet for you to have focus time, do client outreach, connect with clients, have meetings like you said. Desh, what's your outlet?
So for me, I've recently used has pulled me out of my comfort zone and started saying to me, you need to get out there.
Yeah.
You need to start networking, you need to join certain groups, and honestly, that's been great for me because that's who I am. I love to chat to people and just meet new people. So in that respect, I've really been enjoying it and just putting myself out there a little bit more. It's completely out of my comfort zone, but really it has been working for me, and I did feel it because especially, when we were at EY, it was massive teams that we were working with. Coffee breaks were a real thing. You had lots of fun, ice cream runs, that kind of thing. And then all of a sudden, you're in your office, you're working alone, and the guy next door is your husband. So if you had a fight last night,
yes,
you're not really going to chat to him.
Yes, that must be really, really difficult because you see each other at night. I mean, my husband Raven, I love him to bits. I don't know if I want to spend my daytime working with him as well. I mean, he's a lot of fun, but night times will do just fine. How does that feel?
So I think that's where it helps that Yules is actually, if I don't know if you agree with me, but since we've gotten into a shared office space, I feel like our relationship has gotten a little bit better because there's that separation during the day. There's very few times that we're actually in the office together, and since like clients have just picked up. I've gotten a lot more busy. I will admit I was at fault because I used to be less busy. So I used to annoy him about little things. Like I'll be like, oh, things that are important to me, but obviously are not important to him because he's trying to keep the roof over our head. So I've sort of come to that level with him, understood where my place is in this business, and really taken it on, honestly. Because there was a point where I was like, oh no, he runs the business. I just like help out. But now I've actually stepped into the shoes of being his business partner, and I think that's really helped us. So we've got this division, and we're the type of couple that, you know, when we fight, we don't really want to let it run too long. That kind of situation.
No silent treatment.
So I think that helps us.
There's
There's like a little bit, but I mean, for the most part, we're pretty easy to fold, both of us. Both of us. I can't hold in a smile. He will always bring flowers. So you know, it's that kind of thing. So I think that really works for us. And just knowing that you have to separate work and personal life. And it's been hard. There's been a lot of arguments, a lot of difficulties. But you get to a point where you learn to work around each other, and you understand that the bigger picture is just, it's so much better. Than
so having a 2.5-year-old, I'm wondering, what would life have felt like if you were still in corporate, having a 2.5-year-old? It's not a question where I'm hoping you would make corporate sound difficult, but like being really realistic. If you were to look back now at being corporate and having your 2.5-year-old, do you imagine what that would be like?
Yes, I think, you know, there would be good positives and negatives. In terms of, I mean, I look at the positives. Just last week I was working until 11 at night because her bedtime's at 8. So when she went to bed at 8, I needed to work, and I said to Jules, you know what, if we weren't running our own business, I'd be working at 9 to 5. I'd come home and I'd have the entire evening, because I mean, I don't care, it's somebody else's business. But because this is ours and clients are relying on me, I actually have to sit and put in the time and put in the work and manage everything. So I guess in that sense, it's much harder now to know that we are responsible for everything. There's no one else paying my salary. We have to do it. But the flexibility it affords me is great. I'm able to go fetch her from school. Let's go grab an ice cream before we go home. She's got a concert next month. We're able to take the morning off and go for the concert, take her out for lunch. So I think for me, that outweighs any negativity, because I'm able to just be present, and she is spoiled. She does not know what it's like to have a 9 to 5 mom. She is very spoiled. So there are a lot of times where she'll be in my office, she'll be drawing on her paper, or there's a little garden outside my office, so she'll come and she'll sit there and she'll eat her snack. So she understands what it's like to have, yes, mom work, but mom works at home. So I think that flexibility has really been great for me, and it allows him to also, I don't know, be a little bit more focused on the business side of things, because it's very hard for us to both be, you know, focused on that. And we've also had to juggle a bit, because there were times where it was hard for you, you know, when you'd come home to just switch off and be with her. But we've made this rule that 6 till 8 is her time. And we just sit with her, we play with her, you know, we let her have her time with us. And once she goes to bed, if we need to work, that's when we're going to work.
So I guess before we close out, I'd like to ask a question that motivates a lot of people about unemployment, working 9 to 5, feeling stuck. Because 9 to 5 is not for everyone. And everyone I've been speaking to mentions COVID. COVID sparked something. COVID has sparked something for all of us. And it's been a very, very difficult time for us globally, but I feel like it also gave rise to a new world. The future of work is no longer only just a 9 to 5. That's one possibility. What advice do you have for people out there that are trying something different or want to try something different but are feeling stuck?
I would say just grind, because the thing is, there's no template or script of what needs to be happen. Everyone's story is different, everyone's journey is different. Like I was working 18 hours a day for somebody. Yes, I got joy from it, but I worked that, and our friends and I always just have this joke that we do the cost versus benefit analysis. The cost is all this time, your health, whatever it is, but you work X amount of time for your salary in a month, that's fixed. Whether you work 10 hours a day or 18 hours a day, that's still coming, obviously, depending on how well you're performing. But whereas here, my 18 hours a day can yield a hell of a lot more from, and it's not so much what money it brings in, but the life that it can afford us that we wouldn't have been able to have had we had a 9 to 5, unless you're some fancy exec in a big company. But that's not going to bring me the level of joy, at least I get, from helping other small businesses out there similar to me. That's where my passion is, to empower other SMEs, not be a big corporate. I don't actually want to grow to the size of a big corporate one, because I look at other firms that have scaled and now are servicing the larger market, that have now almost dumped their bookkeepers and the smaller clients because they don't work for their business model anymore. I don't think I want to get to that point, because the SME market in South Africa is huge. It accounts for a significant chunk of our economy. It drives our economy forward. So, I mean, between that and our informal sector that is ever growing and thriving, it's amazing at how much value you can add to just to those sectors alone, and yield a significant amount of value for yourself to live a decent life. But like I said, it's more important that the value creation aspect for us. I mean, we just signed a new client recently. It's been a few months, with Desh is responsible as a fractional CFO, and every time I jump in on calls with a client, I hear nothing but rave reviews of how happy they are with the service, purely because it's not about counting hours and billing in a day, but what value we can add. I mean, the amount of hours I've written off of an engagement because Desh thinks we're running a charity, because at the end of the day she wants to help more than earn money, because we actually have arguments about what do we bill the client, because she's put in 100 hours but she wants to bill for 10, and that's just how we are, because the goal is to actually help. It's not, and it's funny, we used to have a joke, because there's this person who always wants to help others, and we actually, I used to always say, does it say Gowden Foundation on my forehead that you want to just give everything we have? Funny enough, we formed a sister company, part of the group of companies of PGCO now is called the Gowden Foundation, and we're now so grateful that we're at a point where we're able to allocate funds every month from the money that we earn towards a foundation that goes out and helps the education, environment, animals. Those are three pillars that are very close to us. So we're at a point now where funds are being allocated every month to kids who are excelling in school but don't have the means to have a good education. So we are able to fund that. Animal welfare is close to our heart, so helping organizations that are doing great work out there, money goes. And I mean, the best time is towards the end of the year, come February, and where there's money in the bank, we're reaching out to people, hey, can we help? And then the joy that we get from actually, it's not just writing a check, but actually getting involved and getting the team out there and saying, guys, how can we actually physically come and help, volunteer, be it the SPCA, be it anybody for them. And then obviously environmental cleanups. PGCO in our Durban office gets involved with beach cleanups all the time, because it's my dad is so green conscious. Growing up, I actually used to feel embarrassed. I look back now and I think, wow, because we'll go out for lunch and he'll take a can that somebody left on the table. He won't put it in the bin. He'll take it home and we'll recycle it. He'll make sure he recycles it. And that now has grown into us, where we're now actually funding and getting involved with environmental initiatives, because it's ingrained in me. And I mean, this is taking it on herself as well, where we actually look for projects on a regular basis. Funny enough, she told me this morning, I'm so done with working, I want to work for only the Gowden Foundation and just give. So I'm I attribute a lot of divine intervention, and we're at this point where things just fell into place, to the point where we're able to earn enough to actually help other people. And what's the point of accumulating if you can't share? So
exactly. That's beautiful, and that's not a position you would be in if you worked for a company.
100%.
No. Because you'd have one salary, you'd work infinity hours, don't get me wrong, and there's no overtime for it. but there's just no space for charity.
Exactly.
That's beautiful. And that's exactly why we're here today, to show you how people are choosing freedom, making bold decisions with love, ledgers, and work all around South Africa. It's incredible how many of you are viewing our YouTube content. Thank you so much. Less than 70% of you are actually subscribing. So this is for you to please, a humble request. If you love our content, if you want to see so much more coming your way, please do support us and subscribe to our YouTube channel today.